Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jessica Lapsiwala. I am Content Director for Marketing Leaders Circle, and a very warm welcome to all of our audiences today from around the globe. I hope you're staying well and safe during these challenging times. It's a fantastic community here at Marketing Leaders Circle, and so we would really like to warmly welcome you to join this community. Please, if you haven't signed up already, go to mlcircle.com, not now, but after the show, and sign up because it's a great forum to participate in. We've got a really great, exciting show for you today. Some super panellists who are going to talk about the top trends to have on your radar in 2021, which I think you'll agree is an essential bit of valuable information that we all need at this tough time at the moment. So that's going to be the first half of the event today. And the second half, I'm going to take a deep dive interview with marketing guru Jarmila Yu, and we're going to look at kind of what it takes to really build a long-standing brand in today's climate. So I encourage you to ask lots of questions on the YouTube chat. Please have your fingers ready. Our panellists are prepped and ready to go to answer anything that you want help with. So please don't be afraid. Get those fingers moving and ask questions throughout the show. And hopefully, if we get a chance, we'll bring them up onto screen live. So the panel is going to be moderated by the fabulous Ellen Grogan today. Ellen is actually Senior Strategic Content Marketing for Media and Entertainment Manager at Unity Technologies. I hope I said that correctly, Ellen. And she's going to introduce our fantastic panel today. And I will see you a little bit later in the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Hi, everyone. One of the things that I love the most about the media and entertainment industry is that we describe our career by how long we've been going to NAB. And I know some of our panelists have been going to NAB for years as well. My first NAB was back in 2000 when I was in product marketing at Avid Broadcast. And now, as Jessica mentioned, I'm at Unity Technologies. And I'm helping the media and entertainment businesses out there transform their workflows and production pipelines to the future of real time. So since we're all feeling a little bit of a void from missing NAB the last year, I'm pleased to be here with our three marketing chiefs today. So let's have you each go around and take a moment to introduce yourself, your company, and your role in marketing to the M&E industry. How about Nicola? Let's start with you.
Yes, hello, Ellen. Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Nicolas Bourdon. I'm a CMO at EVS. So for those of you who don't know EVS, so EVS is the world leader in live production technology, very active in the sports domain, but any kind of live entertainment activities as well. The company was created in '94. I joined the company in 2005 as a head of marketing, and I am now chief marketing officer for the last year. Now in charge of all strategic marketing activities, product marketing, product management, marketing and communications, as well as learning and user community management. So that's actually what I'm doing there.
That's great. Jarmila, let's go to you. Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ellen, and hello, everyone. I'm Jarmila Yu, and I'm the founder of Unique Marketing. With 25 years of client-side, startup, SME, and blue-chip experience, I decided in 2016 to go it alone and set up my own consultancy with a very specific mission. And that was to unlock the marketing potential in pioneering and purpose-driven entrepreneurs, business owners, and CEOs in SMEs. And having started life in a startup and having ended in blue chips, I'd seen the whole gamut of sort of marketing capability, and I'd seen where when you deploy strategic marketing, you can make such a big difference. But experiencing life in startups and in some of the SMEs, I could see that was lacking. And so that's why I'm on this business mission to bring the CMO service, I'm a consulting chief marketing officer, into the hands of those organizations that need it the most. And we all know that the SME as a segment is where we're going to get the most job growth from. And so they really do need our support. So supporting the SMEs is vital. So when they prosper, that will drive economic growth and ultimately help the economy and deliver a better world. My role at Unique Marketing is that of salesperson, identifying opportunities, working through proposals, winning business, and then servicing clients. But I'm supported by a team comprised of specialist associates and trusted agencies. So my little black book is everything to me. And that spans all the marketing and communications disciplines. So we do the CMO service. I predominantly focus in on brand optimization, go-to-market strategy, and integrated campaigns. And then leaning on these specialist associates and agencies, we then cater for implementation. So we scale up as our client needs grow.
That's great. And we're definitely going to be diving into some of those strategy issues that you mentioned in this discussion. Cindy, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you, Ellen, and everybody. Hi, I'm Cindy Zuelsdorf, and I'm a former overworked marketing czar turned automation expert and founder of my agency, Kokoro Marketing. And I have a book, 7 Marketing Basics. And I help marketers and CEOs and owners of small businesses who are just overwhelmed at the thought of digital marketing. And I help them do what they need to do, stay within their budget, whatever that is. Don't do anything extra, do it with confidence and get it done. And my system's really based on my unique experience as a marketer, from running music stores to handling the sales and marketing at a small equipment manufacturer in the broadcast space, and now to my agencies. So we work particularly with business owners and companies in the broadcast media space right now.
Oh, that's great. Actually, let me take off from there, because you were just talking about marketers being overwhelmed. And I wanted to see if that had anything to do with any of the trends that you're starting to see this year, either positive or negative, that are going to have an impact on marketers this year.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. And overwhelm has been a thing, and really is in marketing anyway, because people feel like I have so much to do and what pieces am I going to do? But particularly this year, what we noticed is with folks who had already embraced things like webinars, virtual events, had systems in place, they were sort of poised to deal with the changes out there in the world. And just for example, one of the companies we work with, the salespeople didn't really know how to do a demo without packing up the equipment into a suitcase and bringing it over to the TV station and setting it up and running it. And so we just worked with them to be able to do that on Zoom. And here's how you do a demo and keep it personal, still stay connected with your clients, but still keep the sort of sales and marketing out there. So I'd say those folks who adapted, big trend and big way to deal with the overwhelm.
Yeah, I think everybody can probably commiserate with that feeling. Nicola, what about you? What's a kind of trend that you're starting to see that'll impact marketing in this space?
But actually, I would say that we've been through a real storm in terms of ways to organize and manage your activities. It's true that we have been in terms of marketing and communication organization in kind of a habit, certainly in the world of broadcast and media. Technologies with all, as you said, all the trade shows, NAB and IBC, and really a lot of this industry and was actually based rhythm around these trade shows, and of course having these trade shows disappearing and all the sales team being stressed under the fact that I still need to be able to talk to my customers, to present my technologies, to bring the right message, pushed actually all the marketing activities and the marketing managers into reflection about how can I think differently, rapidly, and be able to address my the target audience with the right message, taking into consideration that our customers were under terrible stress as well. So they have seen the activities being stopped. So they had to respect social distance in the way they produce, and we had, of course, to take all these elements into consideration. I think the difficult thing is certainly the time span that we had from the customers, the ability to connect with them through webinars, the ability to effectively create a relationship. The positive thing is that we have had the time to think differently, or actually we have been pushed to think differently, and then to really transform the way of approaching our customers. We knew it would come. We didn't know it would come so fast. And of course, this crisis has pushed us to develop these reflections. And after 1 year, it has been terribly intense, I must say, with my team. But we are quite proud of a lot of changes that we brought in the way we address the customers. And for sure, there will be some of the new normal that will come out of that, certainly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Jarmila, you put a lot of focus into making people a part of the connection. Is there a trend there that you are seeing or that you expect to see this year?
Yes, very much so. And actually, leaning on what Nicola and also Cindy have said, I mean, I would term it digital transformation. And we've seen digital transformation occurring for many years now. We've seen the adoption of cloud, AI, all different types of technology that help marketers market more efficiently and effectively. But in this past year, in 2020, we've seen digital transformation affect absolutely every business across every sector. Organizations that maybe were slow to adopt some digital transformation have been forced to do that. And I think that ties in with the overwhelm piece, that teams have had to rapidly skill up and scale up in order to cope. And this digital transformation has also been reflected as a business transformation. It's really affected business process, business operations. It's not just in the marketing department. It runs throughout the entire organization. But the real key is going to be ensuring that whatever people have had to adopt over, say, the last 12 months, they now really focus on getting it working very seamlessly, so it works perfectly across the organization. So it's not just things that we've had to adjust within marketing. Nicola and Cindy have mentioned about the move away from events. Suddenly that creates, a big black hole of lead. You still need the leads. So how do you get that? A key show probably for many of the viewers today would have been CES in Vegas, and that couldn't happen. So, how do you actually showcase all the technologies, gadgets, devices, functionality? How do you do that? So I think the key thing is going to be about how you bring the experiential back, and get people, up and close and personal with the brand. So yeah, digital transformation is a key thing.
That's a excellent point, and I guess it begs the question then: how should marketers that we're speaking to today respond to that sort of acceleration of digital transformation, or these quick disruptions that they've had to face in the past year, Jarmila?
Well, one aspect, and it's an item that's very dear to my heart, I will give a quick plug to the Data and Marketing Association, is around neurodiversity. So for some time in marketing, we've been creatives, but we've also had to become data scientists to a certain degree. And it's not always a natural switch to go from, creative campaign building to really going deep into, the science of it all. And we've also need to become technologists, understanding, Cindy's expertise, understanding how to actually deploy this technology. We're not, natural, techies, really. We're far more creatives. So a key aspect is around embracing diversity, and that leads us into sort of diversity of hiring into the marketing function, so that we can welcome people into the marketing profession that have come from maybe not a comms or business studies background, but maybe from computer sciences, from the other sciences, from maths, and to bring them in. The DMA have produced guides to support marketers to actually think how they can think differently around their hiring to attract people from the neurodiverse community, because there's huge value that they can bring to the team with the skills they have.
Oh yeah, excellent. And we are, people like Nicola and I in the companies that we've worked with, and Cindy as well, we're in the media and entertainment industry is very technology focused. Cindy, if you could just talk about in terms of we can start with marketing automation as a jumping off point, but like what kind of, how will marketers have to respond to the changes in that are going to help them, or I should say, what should they do with those technologies to help them respond to these trends?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because what's nice about marketing automation, and all of us on this panel right now, everybody in the audience, we all know that we use automation in broadcast all the time. We use it for play out, we use it for all different parts of the broadcast chain, right? But I find that a lot of the folks that we end up working with don't leverage automation in their marketing. We use it for our broadcast signals, but hey, we should also use it in marketing. And so some of the resistance around using automation in marketing is, hey, it's not going to feel personal. I'd rather just pick up the phone. And what I feel about that is, please pick up the phone. Keep doing that. We want to keep it personal. And it's possible to use automation to do all the things that need to get done and free you up so you can still be human and have that human to human interaction with your prospects, with your clients. And automation, I just get so psyched about it because it helps us stay in touch with people and act as a conversation starter. And we can personalize it so that people are getting the exact info they want. So an example would be if someone comes to your virtual event or IRL event at NAB or IBC in October, but your virtual event now, and they raise a hand and they're interested in some technology. Maybe they're interested in IP or some kind of file correction. You can note that by hand, but also in your automation system so that the info that goes to them subsequently is right on topic, right? And you can have your correspondent say, hey, thanks for coming to the event. And also you can have your correspondent say, hey, sorry, you missed the event. Here's a couple, 3 key points that may be interesting to you. And all this then helps the salespeople, the marketing people have the time to be human and reach out to people and stay in touch.
Yeah, remarkable. That makes complete sense, all the way around. And in our industries, we definitely have all these personal contacts and touches with people. Actually, I used to attending NAB year after year after year. One of my colleagues joked with us, it's like, media and entertainment isn't really a big industry. There's only 40 of us and we just change companies every couple of years. So
that's so great. Too funny.
Nicola, let me ask you, because you've noted this disruption in how we are interacting with our technology, or with the technologies that we sell, and how we approach customers with those technologies. It's early now in this year, and we're trying to climb our way out of a very chaotic roller coaster of a year. Nothing could have been predicted. Nothing was business as usual. It was thrown out the window. Consistency is something that could be reassuring to people, whether that's consistency in storytelling and outreach in your brand story. How are you bringing consistency into your marketing, and in what ways do you think that would be effective?
But I would say, first of all, I think one thing to bear in mind is that, although we're talking technology with our customers and effectively technology is at the center of all what we're saying. So we're talking to people, and I think, and certainly in our industry, the end goal of what we're doing is to bring technologies and solutions that help creative people to transform the way we bring stories to the world. And actually, for us, there has always been a reflection around what kind of balance we can make between, of course, talking about technology, but also understanding and learning how the technology is being used by peoples and by the communities of creative teams. So for us, the consistency is there. So whether it's effectively going through trade shows and meeting with these people, with these communities, or it's going through different ways, effectively running a certain number of activities related directly to the communities. So it's important that we understand what they live, and certainly we've done that for many years. I think for us, people is at the heart of all what we're doing. So we're building forums and communities, so where we interact with the users, we interact with them. And I would even say that with the crisis has enabled us to even reinforce that, because actually, basically, when you see a lot of the creative communities, they don't especially go to NAB, they don't especially go to IBC, but they easily interact using digital communication tools. And that's something that we have done, namely during the lockdown, is to really say, let's give them something. Let's give them free trainings. Let's give them free tricks about our technology and how to use it. But also, let's collect feedback from them. What is their situation, and they effectively have to respect social distance. So what's the reality, and is the technology still in line with what they expect? And it helped a lot for us to really build and change the way to approach them. To also understand that, yes, we have to communicate and to create interactivity, to personalize some of the messages. So that's a lot of things that for us, keeping very close to not especially the customers, but the communities, the end users of our technology is absolutely essential, and bring effectively some level of consistency in the way we build our message and communications towards the industry.
Yeah, excellent. Jarmila, you've mentioned before the human element in technology. Is that something that you can see people being able to find some stability or reassurance or some consistency in over the next year?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it comes back to the fundamentals. It comes back to brand. And I think what we've had the opportunity to do over the past 12 months is to reconnect and re-engage with our brand, revisit our organizations. Many have been looking at needing to pivot, to transform, the digital transformation, because they could not be showing up visibly, or for retail. Retail has been severely impacted. So the change has forced us to go back and think about actually what are our core offerings? What is our brand message? What is our brand purpose? Who are our clients and customers and end users? What do they really need? And it's given us that chance to re-engage and reconnect with the brand. And we have to think people first. And it's people in different ways. There's a lot more kindness, I think. We're in a sort of kindness economy at the moment. And it's thinking about people as in, actually, yes, our customers, what are they going through? What would help them? What do they need? And for the media and entertainment sector, I mean, oh my goodness, we have so needed entertaining in this time frame. We have needed to be ensuring that there is, programming that's a variety, that's uplifting, that caters for the different emotions that we've been going through as individuals. We've had that, but also reconnecting with our people and our staff and our personnel, and also thinking about shifts in the personnel and who we would be looking to hire going forward. So it's been a huge opportunity to think about the human aspect and bring some brand personality, and not just the corporate brand personality, but to bring some humanity into our brand as well. So I'm constantly on a soapbox with technology clients, where often they focus their web offerings on features and functions rather than benefits, and product shops rather than actual pictures of people actually using the equipment, and pictures of actually the team and who you'd actually be interacting with actually at the brand. So it's an opportunity for us to really sort of inspect every aspect of our marketing and ensure that we're building in the humanity into what we're doing, whether it is that automated message that goes out, say it with style, say it with a human feeling to it, rather than it just being a coded message. So there's lots of ways to bring the humanity back.
Oh, that's excellent. Before we get to our audience questions, Cindy, if I can start with you, I wanted to ask one final question of all of you. We want to kind of have that teed up, which is, given where we are now, if you can give people your advice on where they should be spending their marketing resources or their marketing focus, something that they can take away. Cindy, I wanted to start with you because you did literally write the book. Maybe as some advice that you have for people to get started with.
Yes. We all love the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. And I just love this for marketers because as marketers, we feel like we have to do 110% of everything. But really the important thing is to pick the 20% or even 10% that is going to bring us some sales, some interaction with our customers, and deliver value to our customers and clients. So we need to look for that 10 or 20%, right, to do it. And so I did put a free resource together for this group, actually. And so I think they're going to distribute it out to everybody, or I can throw a link in here. And the free resource shows a kind of map of what you can look at in your business. And this works for big and small companies. And so in some of the work we've done, the small companies are scrappy and they're, ready to jump in. And then I found like the big companies actually need this too. And so we use this life cycle marketing master plan that kind of goes through the different parts of your business. It's just like a 10-minute map plan. You can do it, get a cup of coffee, get a beverage, whatever, run through this. And you'll see, in the beginning of when people meet you, targeting, attracting, bringing them into your list, educating and bringing them value, and then doing the sale. I think we're all good at sales, but that's something to look at too. Then working with, the idea of wowing your customers and over delivering and helping more. And then do you have a built-in referral system? So all these things, I take a look at them and say, where's the one piece? So one of the big pieces that we find, I was just talking with one of our clients yesterday, and they're talking about, hey, we're not gonna, there's no NAB, IBC till October maybe. What should we do? And so we talked about how to have an online event and make it successful in that, hey, if you're going to NAB, you're gonna call people on the phone and invite your key people to come. Let's treat online events the same way. So in their case, we're looking to deliver value and educate their prospects and customers, and we're treating it like an in-person event, and that to them, that brought the most value. But this free resource, I think, would be awesome for anybody who's looking to figure out where to focus.
I think that's great. And most people do have 10 minutes that they can spend, looking at something like that. Nicola, what would be your view or your, kind of perspective on where marketers in this space should be spending their resources, their time, or where not to spend their resources and time this year?
Well, I would say for me, taking into consideration that it's hard, and I saw the question, so it's hard effectively not to overload teams and people going through lots of webinar sessions and and things like that. So I think we have to find ways to communicate and bring short message, bring interactivity and personalization, and this is actually where automation can help. So actually, automation tools will help not to replace the relationship, but to bring the relationship more effective and more efficient in a way or the other. So that's actually certainly things that they have to think about. I think start first with listening to your customers. Get in touch with your customer and listen to them. So because they are facing issues, they're facing problems today, and they have different ways of thinking, and you will learn a lot. So like at EVS, we created very quickly advisory boards. So we brought people from the industry and organized sessions where we listen to them. And it's always very, very fruitful to listen and understand. And it enables you to adapt. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just a little bit of time. And you create these interactions. Organized focus groups as well. So I think I would say these are the kind of things. So, and one thing effectively also is, don't bring big promises, because actually we miss visibility in long term, but build quick wins. and actually try to bring some short-term values. And that's why I was talking about trainings, manuals, configuration tricks, support elements, so any kind of things that can help them to say, okay, they bring me something, and you will have something back by the message, the information you get, and then by adapting your technology to really meet their needs. So I think that's a kind of message and recommendation I would give to my peers in this industry.
That's excellent. Jarmila, we're going to be going into a deep dive with you with Jessica in a little while, so I wanted to throw this audience question your way before we send you off. How can you get the right balance between getting your message out there and not overloading people? Is that something that you could address for us?
I'm just rereading that question there. So if you've got brand clarity, you won't need to use too many words. If you're really crystal clear on, what your brand stands for, you also won't have to throw out loads of marketing to get that message out there, because it's going to be hard hitting, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be directed at the right audience. And if, to Nicolas' point, if you are thinking about your customer and where they are, so you're thinking about their tactic and content preferences, you'll be getting straight to them. So that's a key way. It's really understanding your customer and understanding yourself, i.e. your brand. And then that way you won't overload your own people, your staff, because suddenly you're not asking them to do masses of marketing and so many more campaign touches. And equally, you won't be overwhelming or overloading the customer, who'll be the receiving end of your marketing. And in this era of GDPR, where it is now super easy to unsubscribe, I know Cindy's waving at me, we don't want to risk unsubscribing people, because it is costly to get them to a subscribe point where they're engaging with you. You've got permission to be marketing to them. Don't mess it up. I nearly said the wrong word there. Don't mess it up. We might have young viewers on here. Don't mess it up and then suddenly lose that trusted connection.
That sounds great. And Cindy, one more for you, if you wouldn't mind, from your automation perspective. Where would you get the data from if you don't have it in-house? And that probably has a lot to do with way more than marketing data, but data in general. Where can you get it if you don't have it?
Tell me what kind of data you're talking about.
That could be anything from the kind of subscriber data that you have, market research data. It could be even the kinds of using data in order to inform your storytelling. Where would that come from?
Okay, I think I'm with you now. Okay, I have an example, and see if this answers the question. We do something we call an ask campaign. And so it might look like this. Hey, nice to see you. Hope things are going great. We're thinking about putting together some sessions on these topics, topic A, B, C, and just click below and let me know if any of those sound good. And we also put a D in there that says other, right? So we do this regularly. Are you coming to NAB, IBC, not going? Are you interested in topic 1, 2, or 3? And so if you do have a list, it can even just be a few hundred people for those small scrappy companies, or it can be thousands for the medium or bigger size companies. Send that out. You're going to get a ton of response back, especially if you say, or just reply to me and let me know. Now it takes that time to read those responses, but it's gold, because if someone responds to that and tells you what they're interested in or what they're not interested in, that's the data that you can use for your sales, marketing, communication, everything.
That's terrific. I want to thank all three of you so much. I have noticed a recurring theme of making a human connection with technology, with data, with our interactions, and with all of marketing. And it has been an absolute pleasure learning from all of you. Jarmila, we're going to hear more from you as we hand the interview over to Jessica to go into a much deeper conversation. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. That was a really fascinating session, and thank you to all of our guests. There's been a lot of conversation currently about trade shows and the uncertainty of what's going to happen in the near future or even in the midterm. In the spirit of the kindness economy that Jarmila mentioned, it would be good to have a conversation about that and continue that conversation. So on LinkedIn, if you go to Marketing Leaders Circle, to our group page, then we've started a discussion off there so that we can continue this discussion and talk about how people are really innovating, how they're connecting with their customers currently whilst trade shows are not happening. So please come and join us with that conversation and really let's share our ideas and inspire each other, because now is really the time to collaborate and really kind of share ideas and thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to move on now to the interview segment. Jarmila's already introduced herself, but I would also like to add that Jarmila is also a award-winning CMO. So she's globally ranked as one of the top 100 CMOs. So if there's anybody that's going to give us great advice on marketing strategy and how to get the best out of people, it is Jarmila. Hello again, Jarmila.
Hello, Jessica, and what a wonderful introduction. No pressure then. Oh my goodness.
Not at all. Thank you so much for your contribution in the panel. It was really fascinating to hear, and you're obviously very, very passionate about kind of the human element. So I'd like to kind of talk a little bit more about the people side of the business. And as Nicola mentioned, people are at the heart of all businesses and communities at the moment. So alongside kind of people, we're also hearing this word sort of purpose a lot more currently. And I wonder if you can give us a little bit of insight into what that actually means, because I think some people might have heard it and think, oh, it's just another buzzword, but actually there's a lot of meaning to that. There's a purpose to purpose.
There is indeed a purpose to purpose. And really, for those of us that are on the call, we're amongst friends, we're marketers here together. So this should actually be second nature to all of us. But sometimes we just need a little reminder of some basics. But purpose, it's really, yes, why do we exist? What are we here to do? What are we here to achieve? What are we here to accomplish? But it's bigger than a job. It's bigger than our career. It really, and as we sort of move further into the 2020s, and as we've seen over the last sort of 12 months, actually purpose has been reimagined entirely in many, many organizations. And it's something that has enabled organizations to really reconnect with all of their people, all of their stakeholders, staff, customers, investors, buyers, you name it. And it's really about the purpose of, coming together and the mission that we can be united around. Yes, as marketeers, we will build out mission, vision, values, marketing plans, marketing communications briefs, all the messaging, all the wonderful messaging that goes to sort of support marketing of a brand, of a business, of a corporation, of all the product lines that it carries. But fundamentally, we have to know what is that core purpose that we all stand for. And it is about being really sharp on that. And it's about less. It's about less words to describe it. So it's, and I've seen many organizations actually invest in brand over the last 12 months because they've identified a need to go back to brand and to really rethink their purpose. Why are they here? And many brands even actually diversifying and thinking around the products and offerings that they have, and then what can they do which actually serves the greater good as well, not just around profit with purpose.
For a B2C company, this might sound like music to their ears, and they're very kind of fay with this idea. But for a B2B company, and particularly in media and broadcast and entertainment, where people are thinking, or companies are thinking, I just need to sell my products now. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking like that? That it's kind of like, why do I need to think about purpose? All I need to do is sell my technology.
We're not robots selling to robots, is the first thing that I would say. Behind a B2B organization is people. Now, fast forward maybe 20, 30 years, and we may well be in a time period where, yes, actually the robots are the ones doing the purchasing. So we've already seen that with the Internet of Things, with the rise of the machines, the fridge identifying that you're running low on milk and then contacting your local grocer and saying, well, they're running out of milk, so let's order them some milk. And so you've almost got, the machine, which is the fridge, which is, let's call it a robot, ordering from some online system, which is again technology, and then you've just got the person that's somewhere, but you've got people in the mix. But we're not there yet, and right now we absolutely need to think about the human. The future is going to be the future, and it will be with change, but right now we're desperately needing to remember that we're humans. Well, I can hear some interference. I'm not sure if you can tell if it's only at my end.
I hope that's a bit better.
All right, that's gone.
Okay, perfect. Talking about technology.
We're reliant on it.
I know. So, I mean, if you're a B2B business within media and entertainment, it really is worth taking the time out to look at what your values are, what your brand is about, and then how you, I guess, really connect that with your brand storytelling. But what are some of the practical kind of pointers that you can give to a business who has, is kind of at the beginning stages of kind of knitting all of that together and really kind of finding how values, ethos, purpose, all of that fits together?
Well, no surprise, I'm going to say you need to bring your people on the journey with you. And it starts from the top, and it starts with the leadership team. Whether you're a small and growing organization, or you're mid-size, or you're a large corporation and you've been existing a while, bringing the key players together around the table. And it's actually a good exercise to do, because products change, products evolve, new releases come out, new products are developed continuously, brands evolve. They're a living thing. If they just stood still, then it would be a less interesting world. So it's something that you need to revisit, probably on an annual basis, just to revisit the direction that the organization is going in. Sometimes the routine of planning cycles is a good time to be able to do that, to see actually what's shifted, what's changed. We know, we've seen it over the last 10 years, buyer behaviors change, whether that's B2C or B2B, buyer behavior has changed. Our attention spans have dramatically reduced. We're time poor. We're living in an era now where we're completely reliant on technology and on digital to sort of consume information. Print will make a comeback. I'm a huge advocate of print and sort of blended online and offline. But you have to sort of revisit the brand and ensure that actually the brand strategy is fit for purpose.
And whilst we are facing this major, all companies are being pushed into digital transformation, and our communication is over email, over webinars, over video. How do you kind of ensure that the human side is brought into that? I know you touched on kind of keep your words short. If you know your brand, then you should be able to articulate that. But are there any other kind of ways that brands can really, create a compelling brand story without having that human interaction, that physical connection with people?
There are different ways to actually bring offline back back into being. There's ways of actually repurposing, keep using the word purpose, but repurposing content from using completely digital methods of communication. So if you think about organizations that invest heavily on blogs, on different social media platforms, on forums and community groups, online materials, to then at a certain point in time actually looking at the content they've created and repurposing that in a physical format. So if you think, a topic that is, I have to say, dear to my heart, is around physical communications in a digital era. One organization I've seen in the past had been actually using a lot of digital content, but then realized actually that the audience they were targeting was not that, those were not their tactic and content preferences, but they'd invested so much in that digital content. And so a method that they deployed was to actually take that digital content and make it available in printed format. And hey presto, the content was already there. There wasn't extra investment needed. It was just in the sort of the print production. So there's ways to convert from printed to digital and from digital to print. But again, back thinking about the customer, what's going to land well with them. But other key techniques are taking everybody on that journey with you around the brand, your mission, which will also encourage the advocacy piece once people have built up that know, like, trust and have purchased from you. So having your brand advocates, having your customers do some of the sales storytelling for you through the use of video testimonials, in advertising, many different ways to do that. But yes, I will sort of lean back on it's still bringing the human touch back into it.
Sounds like we need each other more than ever right now to champion each other. Are there any brands that you can think of that are, that really got their messaging right at the moment, and good examples? So, which ones are sort of a couple of brands that have stood out for you over the last 12 months or so that have really kind of grasped this?
I would say that the ones that I've been the closest to actually are the ones that are membership-led, membership organizations. And they've really resonated because they are, I think, those that are the closest to their customers. And they are continually serving them because they are needing to be showing up for them. And they have had to do a huge transformation from in-person events that they've historically always been sort of led by, to supporting their member bases virtually. So I'm thinking about the whole range of the membership organizations in the business community, the trade business organizations. So the CBI, Institute of Directors, British Chambers of Commerce, and those that are supporting very much the entrepreneur end, so Enterprise Nation, Startup Britain, Small Business Britain. They've really focused in on the needs of the customers. They've avoided the "we're here for you, we know what you're going through," which was so crass at the very beginning of the first lockdown. I actually had COVID, and I was seeing all of these messages coming in, and I have to tell you, being told by my water company, "We're here for you," yeah, that it kind of didn't land well. So you've got to think about what is really the right message, and it goes back to sort of knowing your customer. But those are brands, and membership organizations really do stand out, and those are the ones that I would say have done a really good job.
It sounds like now, is the time for sort of solidarity, and those sort of organisations can create that sense of community and solidarity. And I guess that's another word, isn't it? So community is so important right now. Whether it's online and people meeting together, or creating private events, whatever. That sense of people are there for each other, not just I'm a brand, I'm here for you, but we're here for each other. The kind of tips that you'd give for for B2B brands out there who are looking to, build on that community and bring people together?
Absolutely. Community marketing is absolutely a key trend. I would put it in the list of the trends. And if organizations, whether they're B2B or B2C, if they're not investing their time in building out community, then they're missing many, many tricks, really. From having groups on some of the social media platforms to having your own mini sort of membership organizations. I know that yourselves, you've got a board of advisors, hugely valuable, hugely important to sort of steer the direction, new product development. There's so many insights that can be gleaned from it. But being the facilitator and being seen as the facilitator, which brands can be, so you're there to facilitate, you're part of the conversation, but you're allowing users, you're allowing communities to come together and talk. It's hugely valuable. But there's lots of different ways of doing that. And then when this crisis is over, and pray to God it will be very, very soon, but when it is over, you'll be able to sort of take those communities that you've built up and do so much more with them. And convert that into sort of physical interactions.
I just want to touch on the topic of diversity, and then I want to go to an audience question that's come in. But just want to shout out that if there are any other questions that you want to ask Jarmila, please do pop it in the chat, and I'll make sure that it's answered. So on the topic of diversity, it's said that people will, diversity is a business advantage, and that's been, proved over and over again. And companies will have to engage more with topics like mental health, inclusivity, social justice. Do you think that companies that don't embrace that will potentially become irrelevant or even possibly obsolete in the future? What's your take on that?
It's really, goodness. Well, if we look at the recent past, there's been so many organisations that we would have thought would have always, been here and have sort of disappeared. So organisations disappear for lots of different reasons, whether it be purely for non-adoption of sort of D&I. I don't know whether I would necessarily say that. I've always worked, thankfully, with very diverse teams where you've got, diversity of thought, age, race, sex, complete diversity. So it's the only way that I've really known it, and it's unusual to think of something that isn't. I think back on my very first job when I was in a startup, and we were marketing software into the recruitment and HR sector, and I met with many recruiters, and they're saying, oh yeah, well we hire this type of type A for this role, and you always want the same profile. And even back then I was thinking, oh, actually it's quite nice to have a bit of a mix. And I was thinking the small team that I was building, and I was thinking, well, actually I know that the person that's going to be at the beginning of the stage hunting for leads is not the same type of person that I'm going to be wanting servicing the account, because they just behave in different ways. So you need, even within a sales team, you need a diversity of type of person to actually handle the whole range from lead identification to then servicing the account. So diversity is absolutely critical, and I think it's around understanding, and if anything's showed us we can work differently. We've necessity is the mother of invention, and this past 12 months we've identified that actually we can enable people to work in ways that they would not have expected. So actually it's easier to think about bringing people on board that maybe we would have previously had to thought about, well, maybe we need a different office layout or different considerations to take into account. It's so much easier. We can do that.
Thank you. I've got one question from the audience. with the breakneck speed of change, particularly digital change, do you have any specific advice on how to be resilient as a business or a brand? Because it is, it's tough out there and things are changing on a weekly basis at the moment. So how do you kind of, create a resilient business and resilient people?
Right. Well, it goes back. Well, go back to the plan, back to the drawing board, back to process. Don't be taken in by every single shiny new toy that suddenly comes your way. Actually think what technology do you need. If you're going from manual paper-based to a tech-enabled environment, think about the process and then think about the right technology to support that process that you would have done. I'm just trying to think back to that question, whether that answers it really. But just try and think about, get your process straight in whatever you're doing now before you suddenly adopt lots of different technology. Try not to adopt too much all in one go as well. Otherwise it can be back to that overwhelm that we were talking about earlier. It will be overwhelming for the teams getting their heads around it all as well.
So less is more, and think about less is more in terms of technology, in terms of words.
Stage it is a huge enabler, but you've got to plan it and you've got to sort of stage it, and you've got to think, why are you doing it? Is it because suddenly everyone's talking about it and everyone's doing it, or is it because you need it? And it's a vital piece for you. It's a big investment as well, because the time to the cost to purchase, deploy.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jarmila. One piece of advice for the next decade. Why not? Let's go for it. We're in a new decade. For the next decade, what's your one bit of advice for CMOs out there, particularly those who are working in a tech/media sector?
I would say unleash the entrepreneur in you. We have seen huge change over the last 12 months. We've had to throw out the rule book to the point that there is no rule book. Think plan on a page, think agile, and think about the founder of the organization that you're working for. They are the entrepreneur. So think like the entrepreneur. And unleash the inner entrepreneur from yourself so that you can, act with speed, act with agility, and do what matters, but ultimately do it with purpose.
Thank you, Jarmila. Fascinating advice. Thank you for being such a fantastic guest today. And thank you to all of our guests today and Ellen for moderating the roundtable earlier. So talking of communities and the importance of supporting each other, please sign up to mlcircle.com. We're a fast growing new community for marketing professionals within the media and entertainment sector. So head over to the website now. If you become a member, you'll see there's, you'll see on the website there are various benefits of becoming a member, including access to forums where you can really share ideas, share experiences, ask questions that are keeping you awake at night. And also you will have access to things like jobs boards and openings within the industry. Sign up to our future events. We'll be back in February for another discussion, also with some very topical themes. So thank you for listening, and for now, goodbye, and we'll see you soon.